Hello and welcome. This is our weekly show on Ubuntu TV. And as you know, on Ubuntu TV, we present several experts on issues related to pastoralism, agro-pastoralism, and the related matters. Today, we have another honorable guest in our studio here in Ubuntu TV. Our guest is Brother Dr. Ali Ahmed, and Dr. Ali Ahmed is Executive Director of one of the most influential non-governmental organizations called AKBAR, or Aged and Children Pastoralist Association. It is an award-winning organization which is awarded by the Prime Minister of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia twice. Brother Ali is also a doctor of military science and strategic affairs in University of Budapest, School of Military Science, Budapest, Hungary. And today we are gonna discuss about the Horn of Africa in particular and the East Africa in general from the pastoralist security perspectives. Welcome, Brother Ali.
Pleasure to meet you. It's a great pleasure for me to meet you.
Yeah. This is the first of its kind in English in our Ubuntu television weekly program. And it is very honor for us to have you on board to discuss these burning issues relating to pastoral security and, the regional integration issues in general. Let's proceed. Please tell us a little bit about what you have been doing as a general director of AKBAR, your organization, and little bit, not much, about you yourself.
Thank you very much, Musa. It's a great pleasure for me to come and visit and share information with you, especially on Ubuntu TV. I like the name. It's more African. It gives that flavor of Africanism, Pan-Africanism, Bantu cultural, governance, which I think Westerns, Westerns should come and take our culture and see how African cultures and also the taste of it. Through, as you said, I may not be having all those good things you have been saying. I may not agree with you much of them. I am Ali Ahmed Sheikh. Most of my life been working in the humanitarian sector, especially the pastoralist regions, mainly in Somali region. Aged and Children Pastoral Association, as luck will have been, I was the founder of that organization. Since 2008, when we got our first registration, much have been done. We've done programs mainly on cultural pattern, friendly programs with the pastoralists. One of the programs that we say sometimes was the result of our awards. Was a camel milk value chain project, which we started first in Somali region and had a massive impact. Above all, we have had quite a number of pastoralist staff got opportunity to work with us. The program was funded by USAID, Ethiopia. Then I had also sideline, kind of an academic inclination. I've pursued my studies, and sometimes people ask me that, oh, you're a humanitarian, but the title and the school of studies you've gone contradicts, I've pursued my studies, law, was my first degree. My first master's was business administration in Greenwich University. my second master's, which we did together, but later on I had to go for the PhD, Doctoral School of Military Science, Budapest, Hungary. As a student of Doctoral School of Military Science, I might still continue on, being academic means being, continuous, it's been, in class or, involving yourself in academic. So that's me, and my interest always used to be working on pastoralist, but you can't work without having the academic background, and that actually what influences me to go for continuously studying. I've been a student throughout, and I am still a student.
Yeah.
So that is the brief I could say about myself.
We have known each other for some long enough time.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know you. You are one of the. As to my very knowledge, you are one of the best writers, relating the regional integrations. I don't know how much people know you and how much people you know, but you are one of the, I was telling you just earlier time, and you are one of the, heavyweight writers in Horn African, issues. Little bit. Can you please little bit about the AKBAR? You didn't tell us a little bit what you do. Especially, I know that you are working on the camel milk value chain and pastoralist production system in general.
And through AKBAR organization, as the name suggests, is an age and children pastoralist organization. Mainly we focus programs relating to the aging pastoralist, and also generally, as we know that by policy or in terms of resource, pastoralists have long suffered marginalization, and as a result, I thought that now the two sectors of the societies, particularly who bear the burden of this marginalization, is the children, who are the future, as well as they grow old, aging. Then we started doing program on education, mainly the orphan children, and then later on we started now expanding into a livelihood program. And livelihood program was not an Eurocentric invention. It was just capitalizing the need as based on the culture. Then how can we improve that? Such was the famous camel milk value chain project, which we started first. It was livelihood and also as well as creation of job opportunities. We've created, culturally we know that the physical animal is being kept by men, and then the byproduct of the livestock is also controlled by women. So as a way of empowering women and assuring that the resources reach direct to the children, then we started capitalizing on women pastoralists, and we formed milk marketing groups, we call it, associations, cooperatives. First of all, educating them on arithmetics, on how to read and write, and bookkeeping. Then we started again helping them to look for a cooperative registration. Thereon, then we provided the funds, startup capital, then milk. Now, the big aim, the major aim of this program was to cut the middle people, because we see that camel milk are available, then the suppliers, the source, always suffer because of the increasing middlemen and women, in the middle of the chain. So now what we did is that we provided direct the needy and the suppliers direct connection.
So the demand and the supply chain is directly connected. So then there is no in between, hassles and also the middle, brokers or whatever. Also, the hygiene of the milk was very necessary, because we found out that many of traders, they use different kind of antibiotics to increase the shelf life of the milk. And then the consumers suffer a lot. As a result, then we started
inculcating our programs on hygiene and sanitation of the milk, which was a great improvement. It was then that we realized camel milk coming in packets, you see, as a result of this process. They also, it was funded by USAID, as I said earlier, the program. On the other side also, we have been partner with Masikop, one of the organization, also who access funds directly from USAID. There we complement, then there was kind of a complementarity. Here they supported innovative part of their program by providing, you know, startup capitals, so willing traders, bringing the public sector on board, who bought, you know, the machine for pasteurization machine. Then here we provided the camel milk, and also for the milk to be indifferent, then there was the need of the animal feed. Then we did it, what you call it, folder program, which we actually started. Later on was expanded to many parts of the region. It was a great project, very successful. The evaluation also was
the outcome was very good.
Very good, and the government was actually, still we do it actually. When we first out with USAID, immediately GIZ took over. And since then now, still we are continuing nearly 7 years after that with GIZ again. And according to information I'm getting, they're thinking to expand it for 10 years to continue it, you see. So it was a very innovative project. And many people benefited, not only on the project targeted group, but the periphery influence was there. Staffs, quite number, almost 40 staffs was each program working, who are now, that with their capacity, knowledges, are still now disseminated to the region. Some of them are in the government, you know, leadership. Some of them are in also NGOs leadership, you know, work in the region. It was a great program, actually.
How was the award by Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn?
That was very, you know, unexpected to some of us, because we just found our name that we were told, oh, you should come to the ceremony held during the Pastoralist Day. Then we were told that, oh, you are the award win, you know, and in the history of Ethiopia, I personally haven't seen in record NGOs awarded by the government. They always that kind of hustle, pull and push kind of relationship. But we won, and when we asked, we were told that it was the government own studies carried out, and then it was selected by the government also, who did what, and that's the process in which they follow, which actually we were not aware even in the beginning. It's only that at the 11th hour after we were called to come. And the first award we won it in Afar. It was in Afar region that I was awarded, you know, when it was held. And then that has given us also the motivation to continue, you know, and that enigma and all those.
Many of my guests really appreciate what Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn have done, specifically, you know, regarding the pastoralism. I have never knew that His Excellency was this much involved, because I have met almost on this particular place. I have invited, including the, you know, the Pastoralist Forum Ethiopia, the professors, you know, Getachew and Samuel, Pastoralist Concern Group. The, you know, authority people relating to pastoralism, and most of them were just narrating the positivity and the positive impact that His Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn had on pastoralism and the pastoralist concerned areas. I think we really appreciate His Excellency, and I hope the others will follow exactly the same and better steps toward the pastoralism. Well, let's go now and dive into our main agenda of today, which is the Eastern African political security dynamics from the pastoral perspective. As you know, Dr. Ali, there are currently, you know, new development, especially this the past 3 years. There are trials going on about creating regional blocks, regional economic integrations. So why new regional blocks in the Horn of Africa now, this time? And what are some of the implications for the pastoralist community that encircled all the Horn of Africa in general?
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's a very good question and a contemporary, timely question. I mean, well, it's true that in the recent past there is a lot of dynamics going on in the Horn of Africa, be it politically, economically, security-wise. There's a lot of changes going on, and it's still going on. Yeah, it's true. And honestly, these changes have got their own, merit and demerit.
Yeah.
See. For example, in the last 3 years, the political trajectory for Horn of Africa was one with mixed reactions. See. For example, changes took place. Political leadership.
Yeah.
In Ethiopia, it had a wide effect on the whole region. A regime change, kind of, starting from 2018. Subsequently, was followed by Sudan. Again, Bivol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somalia itself.
Yeah.
So all this kind of actually changes happening in the Horn of Africa has got impact to pastoralists. It has got its own effect, a negative effect and positive effect. To start with, now, since the change, which is the grand influence, had a grand influence on Horn of Africa was Ethiopia. Right after regime change, that the EPRDF regime selected, a new premier, subsequently followed by the collapse of the EPRDF.
Yeah.
Then the new PP party.
Yeah.
Rapprochement, the peace deal between Eritrea and Ethiopia. The Sudan.
Yeah.
All this complexity was happening in the last 3 years. Pastoralists, above all that political, there's also natural changes, which is a drought also going on in the Horn of Africa.
Exactly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, most of the politicians have little to say about the pastoralists, the drought, and especially the focus they give it on the political side.
We've been discussing, the new emergencies, new developments, regarding the political dynamics in the Horn of Africa, as well as in the, the eastern part of Africa in general.
Yeah.
So I was asking, why now? Why these developments are, coming out this time? Is it because, as you mentioned earlier, because, the emerging or the political development in Ethiopia, and does that really shows the hegemonic power of Ethiopia, because the whole Horn of Africa is getting shaped one way or the other. Yeah. So what does it mean for us to as an Ethiopian, as the Horn African
and pastoralist
community?
Yeah. Well, the formation of this new bloc, which actually has raised an eyebrow, many people have raised, or many of the countries in the region have had a concern to express about it. Initially the idea was born by Isaias Afwerki, His Excellency Isaias Afwerki, and it came as a result of the current Prime Minister of Ethiopia, His Excellency Dr. Abiy, initiative of succumbing to the Algiers agreement of the Bademir Ethiopia, which was the bone of contention, and for nearly 2 decades. When barring that one, ideas came out that actually these three countries now agreed to form the new alliance, which is Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Somalia, were the victim, in the past 20 years as a result of their disagreement. Somalia was the battleground, proxy war between Ethiopia heavyweight as well as the Eritrea. And the fighting place was Somalia. So when now the peace deal was signed and they decided to take it, now their disagreement, solve it in a peaceful way. So those who have been victim for the last 20 years, the conflict between Eritrea and Ethiopia, Somalia was the battleground of fighting, the proxy battleground of fighting between the two, either ideology or physically. So as a result now, I think their thought, and according to their declaration, the joint declaration of the Horn of Africa Cooperation, they say that we will be capitalizing on security and economic development. Well, socio-economic development and security. And if we go back to theories of security, this new concept, these days added into the concept of security, they call it regional complex security theory.
Regional complex
security theory.
theory.
In other words, it means that insecurity or insecurity travels faster in closer distance. For example, if there is a problem in Somalia, it will travel faster to Ethiopia than on the other side of the sea of Middle East. So the closer is the distance insecurity travels. Then by coming together, bringing this idea, they just want to maybe capitalize on how to install permanent harmonization, because this area was a subject of conflict. If you know the history of Horn of Africa, the patterns of war and the conflict in records was basically between Ethiopia and Somalia and Eritrea and Ethiopia. You see, throughout history. So as a result, I think the idea came after they came together. No more again conflict after us, kind of a thinking maybe they had. At the same time now, the same question will be asked. Already there are regional organizations. For example, IGAD is there, African Standing Force is there, Common Market and Eastern Africa COMESA is there. What value it will bring, this? Well, I would have said that the closer the distance, the value of security will be felt, insecurity, and also the security at the same time. Instability is felt the closer the distance is the effect. The more you're closer to a conflict area, the more you'll be affected. The more you're far away from it, the more you'll have less effect, of the conflict. So I think the thinking of the new cooperation might be how to bring the societies together, improve, socio-economic structure of the country, these three countries, and also to avoid the possibility of future conflict. I think that's and it explicitly expressed in their joint declaration memorandum that after their consensus.
Okay, so let's see specifically. Look, this Horn of African country are somehow different than most of other areas in Africa as well as in the world, because especially after the era of post-colonialism and the artificial boundaries that has been drawn by the foreigners during their colonial time, the people of Horn of Africa shares many identity elements common identity elements. For instance, if we take Ethiopia and Somalia, we share many things, not only political boundaries, but also we share culture, religion, mentality as well, and even we are related to each other in terms of bloodlines. So you have Somali here, and you have other Somali there. The relative and the familiarity and the family members are some of
in every side of the border.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why I say that.
So you have Somali there, you have Somali
here, and then Somali there.
Tigray here, you have Tigray there.
Yeah. Actually, that's why.
Borana here, and you have Borana in Kenya there. Yeah. So it is
actually you have Afar in Eritrea, you have Afar in Ethiopia,
in Ethiopia as well. Exactly.
Actually, that's why I say that this alliance, basically, the new regional alliance might be coming out of the kind of a domestic driven, domestic demand driven. Yeah, the people are tired now. They want to say, okay, well, we have tried the conflict.
Yeah.
It couldn't pay anything to us.
Yeah.
So let's try, harmonize this here. Yeah. And in this case, the advantageous people who stand, best side of the advantage is the pastoralist. Because we know the culture of pastoralist. We are a mobile people. With our livestock, mobility will be now less restricted as compared when the borders were there. Now this alliance, it will also help. It's kind of a coping strategy to a vicious drought cycle, which we see it in all of Africa all the time due to the climatic change, environmental degradations. So the pastoralists now can have a free movement. Actually, one of my articles one time, I raised the issue of, Horn of Africa Alliance. I said also, countries should be formed. It was, I think, 8 years back. You see?
Yeah.
I was proposing the idea of having, look, East Africa. It's an alliance. There's an East Africa back.
Yeah.
Why not now Horn of Africa, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Eritrea to come together?
Yeah.
Helps the pastoralists when there is no rain in Somalia to move freely to Ethiopia for grazing.
Yeah.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
when again there is no rain in Ethiopia and Somalia, pastoralists could move to Eritrea again as a coping strategy.
Yeah.
So that also it has its own economic benefit as well as also security, because when the free movement comes, when integrations comes, then the likelihood of conflict will be, minimum as compared to when restrictions are there, policies are changed. Of course, as they come alliance, they will have now a pertinent policy that also, at top level, political policy will be one that, both three countries, accommodating three of them.
Yeah.
So kind of lifting restrictions is also boosting to economics of the pastoralist. Market. Look, the market free move, and then tariffs will not be there. Pastoral products will go anywhere. Animals market, instead of localized within a country, now it will be intra-countries. Transnational kind of a market. That if you see the market in Ethiopia is not making you happy, then you move to Eritrea again. Look for a better market. So I think the people who stand the best side of this alliance is basically the pastoralists. And this is, I think, one of, among other domestic-driven demands that has led the idea of the new bloc formation.